Hello, and welcome back to the Four Horsemen. My name is Paul, representing Diecast Graveyard. Myself, along with Jeff from 164 Revival, Xavier from Diecast Show Customs, and Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, form up the Four Horsemen. Once a month we get together and we put on a build where we all do the same casting and the same theme. We also invite the public to participate in these builds. Well, this build for April is a Dodge Charger. Now this one happens to be an ID Dodge Charger, and the theme is Ratty Muscle. So we have to take this car apart, still have it look like a muscle car, but make it look like it's been through the ringer, it's been sitting around a long time, basically looks like a junk heap. But we're going to have a lot of fun with this build today, so grab your favorite adult beverage and let's get started. Here we've got the car already drilled apart. Now all I did was drill out the little mushrooms that hold the car onto the body or the base. We're still going to have to drill it out. So this is a really cool body. I love the Dodge Charger body. This is from 69 or 70, something like that. Here's the base, and there's that chip that goes along with it. Now you don't have to use the car with the chip in it. As long as you've got the Dodge Charger that looks like this, you're good to go. I'm thinking I'm going to cut out that engine, maybe put something else in. Windshield looks like it's in pretty good shape. We're definitely going to have to do a wheel swap because these just won't cut it. I mean, they're cool looking wheels, but not what I'm looking for. Here I'm going to go ahead and pry apart the little clips that hold the axle on to the base. And like I said, we're going to do a wheel swap on this car. Probably put some real riders on it. This is going to be a fun build. Not very often do I get to do a car that looks rusty or modeled or anything like that, but we're definitely going to have some fun with this. Now don't forget, folks, you can participate in these builds also. All you have to do is go to the YouTube page Four Horsemen Diecast, and there's a schedule on there that lets you know what we're going to be building. Here I've got my drill, and I've got a 5/64 drill bit because the screws that I'm going to put in this car are 256 screws. The 5/64 bit is exactly what fits the 256 screws. So grab your 5/64 bit and start drilling. Now as you're drilling here, you make sure that you clean out that drill bit, as often as possible to make sure that the flutes don't get clogged up on the drill. But you also want to make sure of the depth in the post that you're going. You don't want to drill past the post to where your drill bit comes poking out of the hood of the car or the trunk lid of the car. So take your time, clean off the drill bit, and occasionally check to make sure that the drill bit has not gone too deep. Now what I do is I'll use my fingernail here and I'll pull that off and see that that's how far we've gotten into the post. That's about as far as you want to go on this one without drilling through the top. So let's go ahead and flip it over and we'll get the bottom post. Same thing, take your time. Make sure your hand is not behind the drill bit in case it does go through and punctures your hand. Now some people will drill on top of the desk and drill down into it. That's fine, that's safe. But I feel like I've got more control when I do it this way. Have I poked myself in the hand with a drill bit? Yes, I have. But again, you have to take your time and figure out exactly what you're doing here, okay? So it's only up to your personal preference. Now I do say to you though, please be safe when you do this. You definitely don't want to poke yourself in the hand, because that drill bit will go right through with no problem. Alright, let's see how far we've drilled into this. That's quite a bit. Again, using my fingernail there, that's how far I've drilled into the post. So that's more than enough. Let's go ahead and continue. Here I've got the posts all drilled out. I'm going to put 1 drop of motor oil in each post. Then I'm going to tap the screws. Just 1 drop is all you need. This helps to keep the tap from binding inside the post. Go ahead and screw it in and just start screwing. Now if you start to meet resistance, stop and back out the tap. Maybe clean it out if you haven't gone in far enough. That's as far as it's going to go there. Go ahead and back out the tap. I did wipe off the end of the tap there. It was just really quick because I've been used to doing these for a long time. But go ahead and screw that in. These tap handles I got at Bright Vision. So check those out at brightvisionwheels.com. Those tap handles are excellent and they're very lightweight. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put in the 256 screws. We're using the 3/16 inch length here because these are longer posts, so we're going to use the longer screws. Now the short screws are only 1/8 inch long. Okay, that screw went in kind of easy, okay, which means that the hole is slightly larger than the drill bit, and it probably wavered a little bit as I was drilling it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to back out that screw, and I'm going to take a set of pliers. Let me zoom in here so you can see this a little better. I'm going to take a set of pliers and I'm going to slightly squeeze that post just to change the shape of that hole just a little tiny bit. Okay, see how it more looks like an egg now? Just a little tiny bit. Now this is going to give just enough tension for that screw to hold into. Screw it into the post there and it's going to hold it just fine. We're going to do the same thing with the post on the front. Going to back out that screw, take those pliers, and squeeze that post ever so slightly, just to slightly change the shape of it. Don't do it too much. And this will give the screw just enough resistance. If I can get it in the hole there. This will just give the screw enough resistance to where it's not going to come out. And there's today's tip from your Uncle Paulie. There we go, perfect. That'll ensure that your post doesn't come out, or your screw doesn't come out of your post. And you don't have to use glue. There it is. Looking good. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step. Here we've got the citrus strip, and we're going to use this to get all the tampos and that light blue color off the car. Looks like I'm going to have to put some more citrus strip in the container here. Go ahead and shake off any of your excess. And then I'm going to put it on a tray and let it set. There we go. Let's go ahead and move on. Here's the interior of the car with the engine. I want to change out the engine here, so I'm going to use my grinding bit and I'm going to shave down this black engine that's on there. I just didn't like the way it looked. Now the engine I'm replacing it with doesn't look much different, but the details are a little bit finer, and that's why I wanted to change it out. You can use any kind of a cutter here. You can use a saw, you can use a razor blade, whatever you want to. Just be careful and don't cut yourself. And make sure you wear your safety glasses if you're doing any kind of cutting like this. You don't want that stuff flying in your eyes for sure. Go ahead and smooth it out as best you can. And then when you're done, we're going to take a file to it and we're going to smooth it down even more, maybe even a fine piece of sandpaper. This is looking pretty good. Here, take a razor and smooth it out a little bit more. Just be careful. That's looking good. Let's move on. We've smoothed it out quite a bit using this drill bit here. And here we're going to take the file and we're going to smooth it down a little bit more. Now I've got this engine here, 3D printed engine that I got from Bearcat 3D Designs. I filed down the bottom of it just using sandpaper, and I'm going to test fit it to make sure that it works. Now I had to open up the holes just a little bit to get it to fit square into the area. That'll look good, nice and square. Like I said, this one's got a little bit more detail than the other one, is why that I decided to change it out and go with this one. Alright, we'll let that set get to a different area here. Let's go ahead and work on the wheels. Here I've got some Gorilla Glue. I've got the base taped down to my little vise. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to future videos that come out. Here I've got some tires, and I got these tires from Samed Wheels. If you need some aftermarket wheels for your cars, go to Samed Wheels. Now he's available on Facebook. He's also available on eBay, and very soon to have their web address come out to where you can shop directly from Samed Wheels. So put in just a few drops of the super glue. Put these wheels in. That fits perfect. Set those in there nice and flat, and we'll let that set. We've got the front wheels done, now we've got the rear wheels done. Let's move on. Here's the body. I'm going to go ahead and hit it with a coat of surface primer from Tamiya. This is great primer, folks, and I use this a lot. Now there's other primers that you can use. You can use Autoborn Sealer that you can get from Spray Gunner, and there's all kinds of sealers that you can use here. We've got this sprayed up now with the primer. Let's go ahead and let that set for a bit and harden, and we'll start to come in with the colors. Okay, I've got this brown, flat brown, mud brown from Vallejo. That's the word. I couldn't think of the name. I'm sorry. From Vallejo. And we're going to spray it with this primer brown. And we're going to give the whole car a coat of that primer brown. I put a little bit of the thinner with it just to thin it up just a little tiny bit, and we're going to go ahead and spray it. There it is. It's all sprayed up. That definitely looks like primer coat. But we're going to put some more colors on there, and we're going to do a few more tricks. Now the nice folks at Spray Gunner sent me these really cool paints from Ammo. The MIG Ammo paint here, and these paints are made specifically for weathering, etc. So I put a little bit of this MIG Ammo primer in there, and I went ahead and sprayed it in certain areas of the car to try and give it that rusty look. Used a little bit of other colors from Vallejo. I used this gray, and we're going to spray a little bit of gray on there, and we're just going to touch it up here and there to give it some colors to make it look like it's rusty and it's an old car. Here we're going to paint up the door. I'm going to paint it a light blue, a flat blue, and that'll look really good. The best part about doing cars like this, folks, there's no rules. If you want to make it look old and rusty and like it came out of a junkyard or something like that, junk it up. There's no rules. Do what you want to. Alright, here's the fun part. We're going to take some sea salt. And we're going to take a little bit of water, and we're going to wet the hood and the trunk and the roof. And then we're going to sprinkle some of this sea salt on there. Now, chunky salt is good, maybe a little bit finer than what I have here. Wet it up, the salt will stick. There you go. The salt will stick to the water that you just put on there. Now I did come in, I got a sea salt grinder. I did come in a little bit later and put some more other sea salt on there too, just to give it a little bit finer grain. But put that water on there, then put the salt on, and let it set for a while and dry. Now when you go to spray your paint on there, make sure you do it from a little bit of a distance. If you spray it too quick and too much, too close, it'll just blow the salt off, and you don't want to do that. Here I've got this other weathering kit from Tamiya, so I'm using all kinds of things here. I'm making the inside of these wheels look rusty and dirty. And like I said, guys, there's no rules when you're doing a car like this. This is the best part. That's looking pretty nasty. I like that. That's the desired effect I wanted. That looks pretty darn rusty. I like that. That's looking good. I like that a lot. You can get these rust effects kits from spraygunner.com, so check them out. These are new products that they just got in, folks. These nice folks at Spray Gunner sent me a set of these paints, and I've been using them, and I really like them, and I can't wait to use them more in the future. Now, they're having a contest right now to where you can spray up a car or whatever, your models, and you can enter it into a contest for some free prizes. So check out the details at spraygunner.com, and you might walk away with some free product. So please check them out at spraygunner.com. That's looking great. Here's the interior again. Now, I've got this bottle of liquid chrome from Molotov. So instead of using the pen, I'm just going to take a couple of drops out of this little bottle, and I'm going to use a paintbrush. Folks, I found out that this tends to work a lot better, and it saves you a lot of product too. The pens are cool, but you've got a lot more control with a little tiny paintbrush, and this little bottle lasts you a super long time. So check out getting that bottle of Molotov Chrome instead of the pen. Now, you can get this at my Amazon Marketplace page, and the link is in the comments, so please check it out. Go ahead and paint up what you need to chrome. Now, we're going to come back in a little bit later on, and we're going to dirty up that chrome, because we don't want a really nasty looking car with a great looking engine, okay? We want it to go the whole way and make it look like a crappy car, or a sleeper, as they say. Get in there with your paints. Get it all painted up, and then let it dry. And then come back in and do some more of your details. Like I came back in and I painted the belt. I painted it black. Then I came in with some of the oils that I had out of that MIG ammo paint, and painted that up and made it look better, or in this case dirty. Look at that. Looks like it was sitting in a junkyard. Here's my wheels all dirtied up and rusty. That looks excellent. Here's the interior with the engine. That looks nice and dirty. Windshield, of course, looks good. Let's put it all together and have our reveal. And here's what we started with, this ID Dodge Charger. We took it apart, we stripped all the paint off of it, we did a wheel swap, we made it look nasty like it came from a junkyard, but again, that's the theme, Ratty Muscle. Now please check out the links in the comments to the other Four Horsemen builders, and go check out their builds also. Now there's a lot of people that are participating in this build too, so do a search for Four Horsemen builds and look for the Dodge Charger build. Now again, we're going to do a review here, or a recap. Now the only place you're going to be able to see that recap is on the YouTube page Four Horsemen Diecast. So please go to Four Horsemen Diecast on YouTube, subscribe to that page, and you'll be able to see the recaps. Plus there's a schedule for 2021 to let you know what builds are coming up next. So check it out, Four Horsemen Diecast. And here's what we got to. Look at this ratty looking Dodge Charger. We got rust on there, we got scrapes on there, we got rusty wheels, the engine looks like it was parked in a nasty dirty garage. This is exactly the look I was going for, folks. And it was a lot of fun. It was so much fun, especially with that new paint from Spray Gunner, the MIG ammo paint. And they got all kinds of other colors too, folks. They got metallics, they've got all kinds of paints, so please check them out. And not only the Createx paints, they've got the Chroma Air paints, your airbrushes, they've got compressors, they got all kinds of accessories. So please go check out spraygunner.com. You won't be sorry. And let them know that Diecast Graveyard sent you to their website, or when you talk to folks, please. This has been a fantastic build. Thank you so much. Check out the folks at spraygunner.com. They've got a complete line of airbrushes for all your airbrush needs. They've got a really cool line of compressors to include their wonderful no-name compressors. They've got airbrush paints from Createx, which is an incredibly great brand. They've got their in-house brand called Chroma Air. I love these paints. Airbrush kits from Grex and No Name and many other manufacturers. Spend less, get more at spraygunner.com. Next month's build for the month of May is a Dodge Demon, and the theme is street stock. Now this build is due the last day of the month of May, which would be May 31st at 6 o'clock in the morning. So if you got a YouTube page, post it. We'll look forward to seeing it. This was a lot of fun. Make sure you go to 4 Horsemen Diecast on YouTube and subscribe to the 4 Horsemen page. Check out the other 4 Horsemen with the link in the comments, and please check out everyone else's build, but go see the recap on 4 Horsemen Diecast. My name is Paul. Cheers.